We are back. You're looking better. I can actually see you now. Definitely not a hit with the vertical. I knew it's worse for looking at it on a big screen, and it definitely gets in the. It's supposed to get in the algorithm better. That was not the case. So let's just do the best production value we can. We can see Storey's hair and all those awesome things. I've had a wild day story, so I didn't bring this up earlier, but I did Who Am show at 4. Then I did a 2.5 hour draft with McAuliffe, and then it was watch a movie with Erica. Then did a 3 hour show and talked to Who Ames for a half hour after our show, just chatted some more ball. And then so I had a bunch of shit to do for the leagues and then the community and then a bunch of stuff till 6 a.m. I fall asleep at 6 a.m. Okay, this morning. I get woken up at 7:15 from Erica freaking out, like outside. I was like, what happened to the dog? Because Farley, that's how Farley passed in the yard. I was like, what the fuck? So I just had fallen asleep, like actually fallen asleep. Fucking my dogs killed a fucking a woodchuck, dude. We have a woodchuck that lives in our back. Like, dude, this thing was like 15 pounds. I couldn't even fit it in a garbage bag. And they let him, she let him out and like they just go running and she saw it and like they both fucking like tore it up, dude. And so I had to essentially I had to fucking bury, dude. I had to bury a fucking woodchuck, which Erica's super sensitive about animals, so she's hysterical. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I'm sad because like woodchucks are so cute, dude. And this thing had to be pretty old, dude. It was huge. Like they said they're like 5 to 12 pounds. This fucker had to be 15 pounds, dude. Huge. Like, dude, it couldn't fit in a big garbage bag. Like it could have, but I didn't want to have her help me with it. So I had it like open and like there's no way I was getting in that garbage bag. So I had to fucking bury it, dude. Dig a hole and bury it. Have a little funeral. Really weird morning.
That's wild, man. You know what I saw the other day? First of all, I'm sorry, super sorry to hear that. That sucks. Like nobody should have to deal with that shit.
Caddyshack?
Yeah. Dude, I saw a squirrel eating a bird a couple days ago.
No shit. See, wildlife's crazy. It's the way of nature. My dogs have killed it. Now Millie has killed a chipmunk, a squirrel, and now a woodchuck in less than a year. Like, I kind of I have a wilderness kind of area. But holy shit, man, that was a wild, and I couldn't fall back asleep after that. So, Ryan says, thank you. Appreciate that, Ryan. This is definitely better. We had a storm hit 2 years ago. So I had like 2 giant trees all chopped up like by the other side of my fence. So like it's all overgrown. So it's a great spot for him to live. And, I don't care about him there. We are so back. Shout out to Connor. And then obviously Ryan. Ryan is in the community. Ryan is playing in the Superflex League. Guys, the drafts are Saturday. All slow drafts. If Fantasy Dog, if you see him in this chat, you got to tell him to reach out to me because he is not a sleeper. He definitely hasn't paid. He hasn't joined the sleeper yet. So we need to he needs to get in by tonight or I have to replace him. So if anyone wants to play in the best ball draft, the best ball league, $50 best ball league on sleeper, let me know. 12-team league. Gonna be a fun time. Bunch of OGs in there. Big Rays in there. Gonna be a great time. Blake says, where's the doctor when you need him? You know what? I think I found him. You ready for this story? I think we found the doctor. Let's hit the clip first. But I think I got something better for you. This is awesome.
He had a meniscus issue, which totally tanked Derrick Rose's career.
Nice.
You ready though? We found Dr. Ray.
Dr. Ray. Do you think?
Look at this. Look at Ray. Look at him. He's actually a doctor.
On since the Luther Burden injury? I know it's funny.
Yeah, I've had him on. There's Dr. Ray, guys. We found him. He's officially a doctor now, and he's making big bucks. His schedule is crazy, but he's coming on tomorrow night after I do 2 drafts. That's gonna be a good time. Excited to have Big Ray on. And also, there's some news. Jonathan might have torn his meniscus, which is just, it sucks for Jonathan. He can't race for a while, but it's ironic. Like in this channel, in this community, if you fuck up your meniscus, you're going to hear about it, and we're going to play the clip. Apparently, YouTube might be the issue. I feel like a bunch of streamers have been lagging the last couple days.
There you go. Well, I told you I was having issues with the internet around 7:30, 8 o'clock tonight, but that was porn related, so...
Heyo, Story's pretty face is what keeps the views here, Rob. The vertical stream is a no-go. But he's not on the show every night. So what about the other 5 nights or 4 nights of the week when he's not on?
These are good questions. Questions that we need answers to.
I think the key is if you can't get to the $4.99, you just slide it all the way up to the $500 dono. That's what I'm just kidding, Connor. Connor's giving us $100, so shout out to Connor for being the literally the leader in terms of the highest super chat we ever got, and that was super flattering. And Connors is a great dude. Hopefully, you got that your buddy's windshield, or what was it, the back window figured out. Storey Borealis. I love that. All right, we got to get back to the list. I think I got to every comment. We started off with Javonte and Kenneth Walker. We disagreed on Javonte. We both love Kenneth Walker. Double it and pass the next person. Look at this, a $10 banger, and we're 5 away from a chug. And it's kind of like the Starbucks thing where when people pay for everyone's Starbucks thing. And that's what happens at Aldi. We go to Aldi a lot, Story, and you have to put that little quarter in to get the cart. And a lot of people will just like pay it forward and give a cart and keep the quarter in there. And you're supposed to do that for the next person. But there's always that asshole that just keeps the cart and keeps the $1 or keeps the 25 cents.
Yeah. Well, that's how you get your quarterback, right? You plug the thing back in.
Well, you're supposed to get your quarterback in the first round, but it doesn't always work for most teams.
Okay.
See what I did there? Later, Blake. Appreciate you, man. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big day on the show. Multiple drafts. Big Ray coming on. We got a doctor on the show. He's going to break down all the injuries. Tyler Warren, Sam Laporta. Real quick, are you worried about Sam Laporta, dude?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I read that this might be related to the back surgery. I don't think that's the case, having studied that a little bit. But it's really weird this year. We're getting a lot of guys. It's like, we hope he'll be ready for week 1. We expect he'll be ready for week 1. We're talking about Igbuka. We're talking about Evans. We're talking about now Sam Laporta. Malik Neighbors is different. But these guys that got injured, right? Luther Burden, Breece Hall. There's a lot of guys that are like expect to be ready for week 1. Do you think it's just teams taking it easy? Like they're seeing an instance of uptick in injuries and like, all right, we're not pushing these guys. These guys are stars for the team, et cetera. So I'm a tiny bit worried about Sam Laporta, but I'm also willing to chalk it up to a little bit of let's be cautious with this guy. He's getting up there in age, and he plays a very violent position.
Well, he's not. He's only 25 years old, so he's not really getting up there in age, but it seems like he is because he's had a back injury. I think with Laporta in particular, it's like he proved that he's healthy coming off the back injury. Why would we risk him at further injury if he has a little nagging thing? It's like, let's just keep him healthy. And, there's something nice about when a guy is kind of dinged up, but you don't think it's serious. Like, it's almost a more comfortable click if you're drafting now. I know we don't like drafting guys that are injured, going into the season, but if they're not practicing, technically they can't tear their ACL. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can't. So that is like, it's weird. It's like, do you want to take a risk on a little slight injury? And like a hamstring, something we don't want to fuck with. That is something that can re-aggravate. If it's a little ankle injury or if it's a wrist injury, it's like, they'll be fine when game time comes. At least they're not going to further hurt themselves in a fucking scrimmage, dude. Like, that's shit we hate, which we saw a lot the last couple of years.
I cannot stand preseason football. I think it's an absolute waste of time. We don't really learn anything. Sure, guys flash. Dejon Stribling is flashed because everybody's playing the same vanilla nickel defense. They're not being exotic at all in the preseason. And it's second, third, fourth string guys. We're not learning anything. We might learn something about packages, but nobody's playing. We're not getting creative offenses. We're certainly not getting creative defenses. Nobody wants to tip their hand. It's a preseason is such bullshit. Right? It's a way for the owners, these billionaires who happen to luck into, like, okay, so you won the genetic lottery and you inherited this team, and so now we get band together and make these guys play an extra 3 games a year so that season ticket holders can get built because I don't have enough jewelry or my private jet isn't adorned enough. It's absolute garbage that we have to buy into this. I'm so sick of preseason.
You know what really grinds my gears? This Lindsay Lohan. Eh? Lindsay Lohan with all those little outfits, jumping around there on stage, half naked with your little outfits. You're up there jumping around, and I'm just sitting here with my beer. So, what am I supposed to do? What do you want? Are we gonna go out? Is that what you're trying to? Why are you leaping around there, throwing those things all up over there in my face? Huh? What do you want, Lindsay? Tell me what you want.
Could have walked into that one, didn't I?
Boneless. We'll get to your comment in like 30 seconds, but I was actually talking to someone about this. I think it was Blake, about how great the segment is, what grinds my gears with Story, because it's just great when it comes from you because you're usually pretty level-headed, you're usually pretty chill, and like someone like Greg, a lot of things grinds his gears and he gets worked up. So like that equivalent of music is like just a whole song that's a solo. Yours is like the song is chill, it's like comfortably numb, and then the solo hits. And it's fucking perfect. So like when you have the grind the gears thing, you see it building, and the second you start, it's like a 1 minute little like exactly what grinds my gears segment that from Peter Griffin. It's fucking unreal. Derek says nail on the head. Story. Preseason is such a waste. It's the ticket holders thing, right? They want to get the extra games for the. It's really stupid.
Television revenue. It's FOMO. It's ticket revenue. It's stupid. It's such a waste of time. Absolute waste. I've been to a preseason game. You ever been to a preseason game? One of the worst.
Yeah, my first game ever, I think. I was a kid, so I didn't know any difference. Do I keep Travis Etienne? By the way, we're still calling him Etienne here. I'm not changing his name. That's what it is. You can't change your name at 25 unless you're like a singer or something, or like Muhammad Ali. Do I keep Travis Etienne in the 12th round or Kenneth Walker in the 3rd in a super flex? It's Etienne by a mile. Like it's all you do on this is you look at where their ADP is, and generally whoever is the better value. In this case, Etienne's a 4th round pick, and you're getting him in the 12th. Kenneth Walker's a 2nd round pick. Even call him 1st round pick. 2 rounds of value. Nice 2 rounds of value, but you're getting 8 rounds of value on Travis Etienne. Like you're getting an RB2 literally as your bench running back. So it's clearly Etienne. We like Kenneth Walker much more, but keep your 3rd round pick, dude. You can get a banger player there.
Let me bring it in a different perspective because a lot of people are in best ball mode right now, and they're thinking of shares of Etienne and shares of Kenneth Walker. When you're talking about people who come in and they've got 2 or 3 leagues, home leagues, whatever. Like, if you really like Kenneth Walker, if you're a Seahawks fan and you want Kenneth Walker, I'm not going to begrudge if you take him a round early, a few spots early, whatever. In this case, however, I don't care if you've got Kenneth Walker, 15 spots higher, the value that you're getting on Etienne relative to the value you're getting on Walker, there's a huge opportunity cost that you're giving up in the 3rd round there, especially in a Superflex league versus Etienne. But if we're talking like, Kenneth Walker in the 3rd or Etienne. I don't know, where's Etienne usually go right now?
So here's how I break it down. Etienne the 12th, it's such good value. Go there. Where it would be close for me would be Kenneth Walker in the 3rd, which is still a good value in Superflex, where he's going to go at the end of the 2nd in a Superflex. Typically, he's going to drop about 9 picks, where Etienne's going to go in the 6th in a Superflex. It's still 6 rounds of value. If it was Walker in the 3rd versus Etienne in the 8th or 9th, then I'd probably go Kenneth Walker. I'd go with the guy I love, but you have essentially 3 free rounds of value with Etienne. It just gives you so much more flexibility. So, we love Kenneth Walker. Like we just talked about him. We had him higher than ECR. I had him at running back 8. You have a running back 7. Like we are smashing him at the 1-2 turn, especially in PPR. And you said this is a PPR league, I think. So definitely Etienne here. And again, we're not calling him A-Chan. Is it A-Chain? A-Chan? Fuck that shit.
A-Chan. Not A-Chan.
Not doing that.
A-Chan.
Not doing that.
Not A-Chan. A-Chan.
Ryan says there should be preseason best ball. Well, there is, because we accidentally joined one as a community one night drafting.
That's hilarious.
And Dakota was smart enough to start. He drafted Carson Beck in the 1st round. Unfortunately, he sat out that game, but he picked like Kendrick Bourne. He picked all the bums. And we're laughing at him, and we're all taking like Brock Bowers and shit. So they do have it, and they shouldn't have it, though, is the point, because we got tricked into it, and it was stupid. What's up, Bayou Bangle in the house? Guys, check out Bayou Bangle. I actually watched your entire 15-minute video today. He does streams, but he also was making videos driving to work, which is, I made a comment. I was like, this dude talks better driving to work than guys with teleprompters. Fucking awesome stuff. And agree with a lot of his takes. Smart guy. We got to do something sometime, Bayou, because I can feel the vibes. I feel the vibes, dude. Chad Johnson gets a pass because it was sick. I don't get that one. I also don't like Chad Johnson.
Well, you want to go Chisingo?
No, I don't. I like Chad Johnson better than Ocho Cinco, I guess. Earning roster spots and roles can be done in practice and joint practices. Correct, because it's all about getting them on the field, but like, isn't the same thing as scrimmage? It's just, like you said, it's the money thing, man. It's the season tickets. It's literally to say you have an extra home game that no one goes to anyway.
After joint practices and scrimmages and stuff like that. They're not made after preseason games.
PPR, definitely. No problem, Boneless. 2 chains. 2 chains.
Well, the other thing is, I just saw briefly his comment. He's worried about Kamara. The data indicate, like, Kamara, I wouldn't expect Kamara back until like week 4 at this point. Everything that I've read, and he's an older running back coming off of an injury. It's great for him in New Orleans. They want to finish he wants to finish his career there, but I wouldn't be worried. I think this gives a big boost to Etienne.
You know what the preseason's good for? For the referees to practice blowing those calls. You know what I mean? They got to get used to like missing calls and then calling phantom pass interferences. They got to get used to the flow of like, well, I didn't see that, but does it work for the game script? And, I'm not a conspiracy guy, but it's definitely just bad. Remember the replacement refs, that Green Bay game?
The real refs are pretty bad, but that was a different level. They did reconfigure or renegotiate the contract, there's going to be more. They're going to have more opportunities for earning preseason or postseason play instead of it being merit based or length based, time based, and they're also going to get more training for the guys coming in from college, etc. So hopefully it does improve.
Oh, I said I didn't like people changing their last name at age 25, which is what Chan Johnson did. But he gets a pass because it was awesome. Like, as much as it's weird, like, I don't like them changing the pronunciation of their name because that's your fucking name. That is your surname. That's it. Like, we're not in Germany in the fucking 1930s, right? Like, you get that reference? Like, that's a reason to change your name, not ETN to 8-chain. Like, get out of here with that shit. I don't get it. It's like they say that's their name coming out of college, and they're like, by the way, I'm going to go buy this. Super weird.
Doesn't really bother me. I don't care.
That's a nice team name, actually. 8-chain and ETN, 2 chains.
Funny. Yeah. It's a good one.
New Superflex best ball, along with 4 other attorneys. Looking forward to drafting a few with the community. Hell yeah, McAuliffe. Me and McAuliffe drafted one of the best teams. It's a 10-team, 2-quarterback league. It's bonkers. I think we shared it with the Discord. Pretty good. Let's get back to the list, though, Story. Kenneth Walker's name is still up here, which we already talked about. We love Kenneth Walker. This is another. Now we're under number 3, rank disputes. This isn't just guys we disagree with each other on. Sometimes we're going to be aligned lower or higher than ECR. So Jadarian Price, ECR 26. You have him at 31. I have him at 30. And, like, it's wild that you're actually lower on Price than I am because, you know, I hated the player more than you. I hate the situation. I'm a big Charbonnet fan. You are out. You're not. Price is. He's going to go at 26 typically because he's like after 25. It's either 25 is like Tootin or Montgomery or like that like last realm of starting running backs, and then it's Price where it's like that's the upside shot. People are going to take him closer to Tootin, or then they're going to take him to Rico Dowdle, for instance. So you're just not going to have any shares. You don't want nothing to do with this.
Yeah, this is unfortunate the way it shook out. When I was doing these rankings, because I really want to like Jadarian Price, but the situation, there's a number of factors that make me hesitant to draft him where he's being drafted, not the least of which is they won the Super Bowl with this very formula of a committee backfield. So what makes us think that they're suddenly going to give Jadarian Price? So you look at the data, though, like highly drafted running backs, first-round running backs, like they're very good at getting the ball right off the bat, but it feels like this was more of a forced pick or a situation where the Saints kind of panicked, or not Saints, the Seahawks kind of panicked a little bit. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. New head coach, new offensive scheme. The offense not going to be as prolific as they were last year. The efficiency is going to drop a little bit, and we just haven't seen Price do it. He was, of course, he's behind a phenomenal talent in Love at Notre Dame, but there's just a lot of red flags. And if you listen to the reports, Zach Charbonnet is either going to be back week 1 or week 9. I don't think nobody really knows, but at some point he's coming back. And when you are dealing in the throes of bye weeks, to have your guy be, even if he takes over the lead while Charbonnet's not there, Charbonnet's coming into this backfield at some point. They really like him there. So if we see a similar situation with Walker last year, I don't think Price is as good a talent. I'm worried about it. I was surprised because I want to like Price.
Well, you mentioned they won the Super Bowl with the two-headed monster. They also won the Super Bowl with George Halane playing meaningful snaps in the Super Bowl and in the playoffs. So, like, that is valuable for Halane to see the field. They like Emmanuel Wilson. The Charbonnet thing is an X factor. But even if you take Charbonnet out of the equation, if he was out for the year, then I would probably be on board with Price at 26. But that's the point. Like, if we take Charbonnet out, then I'm maybe in on costs, and Charbonnet's not out for the year. So all those things factored in. Yes, he was a first-round pick, but you mentioned that it's a panic pick. They tried to trade back. No one wanted to trade back. So they just ended up, they didn't have a lot of holes. They took Price. And of all teams that break the mold, like Rashad Penny happened. That was this franchise. So, like, if we have an example, and, pick 32 is not pick 16, right? Marion Hampton was not pick 32. Like, these late first-round picks, it's essentially a second-round pick. And this would have been a second-round pick, but they couldn't trade back. They needed a running back. It makes sense, but he's not guaranteed anything is the point.
That's true. I mean, I look back at like Clyde Edwards-Helaire the year after they won not the national championship. Who am I thinking of? It was on LSU.
CEH was on LSU, the little pipsqueak.
Clyde? Okay, yeah. Anyway, yeah, like we're not that far off though, right? Like 4 spots, so he could drop. Like if I got my own luxury pick and a running back pops up and Jadarian Price drops to me at a certain spot, then okay, maybe he's worth a look there. But realistically, it's tough for me to pull the trigger at where he's going right now.
You would have to have 2 sturdy options. Like, let's say you go David Montgomery and ETN, for instance. Now, as a running back 3, if it's kind of a shallower league, now I'm down. But if you have Derrick Henry and you have Chase Brown, if you go running back, like, what's the point of taking Price? Like, what the hell is the point? If you need him for your running back 2, now you have a risk of him getting 7 touches week 1, and now you're in panic mode. You don't have a fucking running back 2. So, Jadarian Price or Jonathan Brooks, who do you want?
Okay, because we're probably going really close to each other, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess whomever's cheaper. No, that's not a good answer.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. Man, I know there's probably Brooks because of the Chuba Hubbard injury. I think just due to that nature. Now, if Chuba Hubbard were fully healthy, it'd be a much tougher conversation, and I would probably lean Price because, again, we just don't know that Brooks is going to be able to recapture the magic after 2 ACL injuries. But this Chuba Hubbard injury pushes me towards Brooks at this point.
Yeah, I would probably agree. And I'm not on either of these guys at their costs. It's just, I'd rather just wait and take Rico Dowdle. I'd rather wait and take Blake Corum. Speaking of Blake Corum, next up on the list, ECR 39, running back 39. You have him at 35. You're actually higher than ECR. I have him at 32. So we're both higher, but I'm definitely a lot higher than ECR. This is the perfect running back 3. This is a guy you can plug and play in certain matchups. And this is a guy that's a league winner if there's an injury. And there's also the chance this is just a 50-50 committee. There's also a chance, I know you don't want to admit it, that he actually takes over this committee a little bit. He's got more juice, man. And that's why I have him at 32. Yeah. This is the type of running back we want.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. Like,
no?
Is he really going to be startable in the first 10 weeks of the season? Again, I understand that they utilize him to spell Kyron down the stretch. I don't think that this is. I didn't think Kyron lost his grip on the job there. You're taking him behind guys or ahead of guys like RJ Harvey, who are guaranteed to have a role. Ja'Cory Cross-Kamara, who's probably going to have a role, right? Kenny Gainwell's got pass catching upside. Kyle Monangai, like it's tough. Yeah, I
he doesn't go ahead of Harvey, by the way. He doesn't go ahead of Harvey.
I'm looking at half PPR right here on ECR on FantasyPros. He's 33 and Harvey's 35.
That's half PPR though. We're talking PPR.
We're talking PPR. Okay.
Yeah, and that doesn't matter to you, but it matters to the ECR.
It doesn't matter to me, but it matters to some people. So, yeah,
the smart people.
Yeah, like for him. I see it. I get the league-winning upside potential. I don't know that he's going to be startable on a week-to-week basis. If he doesn't score a touchdown, I think
he shouldn't be started. His ECR is 39. You're not drafting him to be startable. I mean, what are we talking about? He's in the RB4s.
Okay.
Who do you want, Corum or Monangai? That's a comment from Ryan. Corum or Monangai?
Monangai.
Real, even with the injury.
Yes, there's Monangai was usable last year.
He was. I don't know. I think it's really close. Corum is a better upside play in terms of if an injury happens. Monangai is probably more usable. I'll give you.
You drafted a guy at 37. He's not a pure handcuff at that point. Like, this is a depth piece, meaning that you've got to be able to start him come bye weeks. And I don't know that you can do that with Blake Corum. That's a problem to me. Monangai, you can start if you're in a pinch, like a flex play, an RB3, like whatever it is. With Blake Corum, you're drafting in a position where he's supposed to be a depth piece for your roster, and I don't know that he is that.
You know what's funny is you're actually higher than Blake Corum on ECR, though. So you're arguing against me, who has him at 32, which is higher than consensus. All right, I'm going to hit you guys with the intro. We'll be back in 28 seconds to finish all of the rest of these guys off.
It was fun. That was
Remember that GIF I made? That's
was a nice
every
little
time I
clip
talk
there,
about
yeah.
Hawkinson.
That was a nice little clip there.
Yeah, I got some deep dive in here, some deep diving. Thoughts on smashing A-Chain at plus 5.5 rushing TDs, which is at plus 130. The plus 130 is tasty. I don't know. I'd much rather bet Colson Loveland over 5.5 touchdowns if I was going to go that route. But what are your thoughts on that? 5.5.
I haven't looked into any sportsbook props yet. I don't know. I don't know. I could not give you an honest assessment on that. 5.5 A-Chan, 5.5 rushing touchdowns, 130. What book is that on? I'm curious.
I don't know, but yeah, let Storey know. This is why Derek's the GOAT. Monongai. By the way, Derek, happy Friday. He is a school teacher. This is his night to let loose. Hopefully you're having some beverages, man, and kicking it with us. Really appreciate you. Monongai is still on the taxi squad of my best dynasty team. Holy shit, dude. He's your RB7, Kyle Monongai. He was a 7th round pick, but like that's how money is made, my bro. That is awesome. That is awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Ryan says, why is the ADP insane for Brooks? Are you saying you don't think it's insane where he's going, or why is it insane? It's insane because it's the shiny new toy, even though he's not really a new toy, but we haven't seen him, elite talent coming out of college. People hate Chuba, and Chuba's hurt. It's the archetype of running back we want. It's also not in a great situation in terms of team. That's why it's insane. Like 61, he went 61st Storey in my first Fantrax draft. This guy took him as his RB2. Good luck, bro. Like, good luck with that. I'd rather wait around and take Jalen Warren or Rico Dowdle at that point. Wait a round or two.
I mean, if this Chuba Hubbard injury lingers, though, like what can you realistically expect from Jonathan Brooks? Who else is on that roster? There's not a whole lot of depth behind them.
The other ETN, did he change his name too? Trevor ETN? Did he change his fucking name?
We haven't heard anything from whisper from Trevor ETN, either about him performing in the preseason or his name. So yeah, I mean, he's getting steamed up. I mean, this is not to the level. Remember the Amir Abdullah year, but this is getting a little out of control.
Connor multitasks more than anyone I've ever met, and the dude's awesome at it. So doing multiple drafts, driving, being on the stream, chatting, always make sure you're safe, Connor. But it's this guy can do it all. Connor can do it all. He would probably do great at my job because there's a lot of stuff I have to take care of. So he'd just be doing it. He'd be like reading a book, like AJ Brown on the sideline, packing a bowl, doing all those awesome things. Gibbs, A-Chain, Genty on that squad. That's what's up. It's FanDuel is that A-Chain 5.5 touchdown bet. Ryan says, what have we seen out of Hampton? I didn't love the film as much as most. I think a lot of people assume, like, I've heard a lot of people say he's a Genty level talent. Like, get the hell out of here with that. Hampton is not Genty. Hampton's good. He's good. He's a good player. He could become a great player. I think a lot of people are already pigeonholing him into that great, like that top 8 talent. And I guess he was a 1st round pick, but he wasn't a top 10 pick, Storey.
No, he wasn't a top 10 pick. He was a middle of the 1st round pick. I mean, that's pretty good for a running back, especially years, we've seen years where you didn't get a 1st running back drafted till the end of the 1st round. Chiefs and their Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But where was I going with this? Oh, Hampton. Yeah, great talent. But I'm not convinced that he's a, top 6 talent in the NFL, and people seem to be anointing him. This offense has tremendous upside. I get that, but we saw plenty of instances of, him running into the backsides of his offensive linemen last year. So his vision needs to improve. It also, like, he's speedy, but how many instances of him getting to the edge, making a guy miss did we see last year as well? I think he was a bit of a product of that system that he was in college. And so I get it. This is a very offensive friendly system, but there's 2 other running backs on there that are both can hold their own from a talent perspective.
I think people get enamored with the size speed stuff, right? Like, the metrics are great. I don't think he looks as fast as what the combine said. And they see a guy that's 230, 225. They see the speed. He's got some nice lateral stuff. The pass catching is what's impressive for Hampton, right? The second half, he was really rough before the injury in terms of the vision, like you mentioned. But when he came back, he had a game of like 6 receptions, a game of 5 receptions. And Justin Herbert, as much as he's a big arm quarterback, he is willing to check the ball down. And like, that's where money is made in fantasy. And if he gets the goal line carries, it's just, regardless of the talent, like Keaton Mitchell's a factor there, dude. And Kamani Vidal, this coaching staff loves him. If this is a 3-headed monster, how did that work for Bucky last year? The difference is he's going to get the goal line carries. But dude, people take him in the first round, taking him ahead of Kenneth Walker, taking him ahead of Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I was just gonna say taking him ahead of Saquon.
Oh, thank you, dude. Take him ahead of Jonathan Taylor. Bro, we just saw Jonathan Taylor be the number 1 running back in half PPR for the first 9 weeks of the season, and they're running it back. You know what I mean? And like JT just got paid. Let's not do that. I get the appeal. Like there's probably top 3 upside with Hampton, just if this offense goes bonkers and there's no Kamani Vidal. But like you could say that for all these guys, but I think the floor is much lower for Hampton. Smitty, I'll get to your comment in just a second. Let me get to these supers. Connor says, Storey, get a new comb.
It's gel. I don't comb my hair.
We got mouth in here. We hit the goal. We got a chug. Connor, if you want to get your chug ready in a minute, you can chug with me. He says, hello, boys. Crab Shack. I think this is about the trade he offered us. We talked about that a little bit off the stream. You want to comment on this trade? Read it for the people?
Crab Shack.
The Dynasty League. It's Mouth's Crab Shack. That's his trading.
Oh, that's his name. Was there? Oh, Crab Shack. Is that like a chain out by you, Mouth? Because I do love crab. That's scalps for dinner tonight.
Do you want to read the trade?
You want me to read it?
Yeah, read it.
Okay, let me pull it up. But essentially, in a Dynasty League.
Yeah, let me do the chug while you pull it up.
So in a Dynasty League, pulling up the trade.
This clip is going to take the audio away. So me and Connor are doing a chug. Race me, Connor. Here we go.
Here you go.
Okay, so the trade is two-way trade. Trey Tucker and Kenyon Sadiq for Terry McLaurin and a 2027 second rookie pick.
We have McLaurin in a 2027 second. We have probably the best team or top 2. We're in win now situation. We have a bunch of Zay Flowers, T. Higgins. We have a bunch of like 26-year-old guys. And we don't need a tight end. We have Laporta and Bretton Strange. So we do want Sadiq for sure. But like Terry McLaurin is that would be your wide receiver 2.
I will say people are sleeping on Sadiq a little bit in that there's tons of upside and, you know, the downside is also huge and he's got that hernia situation. But remember, this guy was drafted pretty darn highly here. He was a good college prospect. He's an athletics freak. So if you can take him with your last round pick, you know, what I might do is not draft a defense, take him with my last round pick, see if anything pops off, maybe keep him week 1. If not, you know, he's an easily cuttable roster spot.
That trade makes our team way worse this year, and we lose a second round pick, is how I break it down. So it's definitely a no for me, dog. We could do a counter, but we don't really need Sadiq, and it's just that's a future play, and we're playing for now. We're gonna Smitty, give me one more second. McAuliffe, no, we don't want to do this. Got sent St. Brown and ETN for Neighbors and A-Chain. We have Neighbors and A-Chain. Absolutely not. No. Don't do it. It's 10-man league. Don't do it. PPR league, we want A-Chain and Neighbors over St. Brown and ETN.
Yeah, the big difference there is that ETN to A-Chan because Amon-Ra, I mean, Neighbors should bounce back. It's gonna be a couple week ramp up period. There's no guarantee he's ready for week 1 either. But where would Neighbors be going if we didn't have this injury?
I'll give you some context. Our bench receivers are Christian Watson and Brian Thomas. So we don't need like depth. We don't need any depth. That's our bench. Like those are our 2 bench receivers. It's stacked as shit. And you're going to love that with your rankings. Let's get to Smitty's comment. Sorry for the delay, brother. 10th pick. Are you taking CD, JJ, Genty, or Saquon? Let's go. We don't know the scoring. Let's go on the assumption it's PPR. Story says it doesn't fucking matter. So, CD is really nice there because you're guaranteed a nice running back. If it's a 12-man league, you're guaranteed a nice running back at pick 15, like a really nice running back at pick 15. But, Genty is tasty, bro. You could go Genty and Kenneth Walker. You can go Genty and Saquon. You can go Genty and Hampton if you like Hampton. So CD gives you the flexibility because you're going to get a running back at the second. There's not going to be a wide receiver unless you pull up A.J. Brown and Drake London. We don't want to do that. So it's between Genty and CD Lamb for me because I think there's a chance you can get Saquon or Justin Jefferson in the second round.
I mean, we just talked about Genty versus Saquon. I think I'm pretty confident that I would go with CD in the 10th pick. CD Lamb.
Yeah, I mean, in half PPR, you're taking the running back for sure. Take the running back in PPR. Yeah, you take CD, and then you're guaranteed a running back. You're guaranteed A-Chain. You're guaranteed Henry is even a stretch there because he goes later. So that's a nice start. You want to go 1-1 if you can help it, right? That's like the nice start.
Yeah, but at 10th, I mean, what? There's going to be 4 picks. What can you could start CeeDee Lamb and Derrick Henry, or there's a possibility that Saquon drops to you at the 2-3, right?
100%. 100% there's a chance.
I
Saquon, Kenneth Walker.
would roll the dice. I would say I would go CD and hope that one of Genty or Barkley makes it back to me, and if not, I'd pivot into one of those other running backs.
Yeah, Genty, whatever you prefer. You can't really go. JJ is not the pick, though, because I just saw my first Fantrax draft. JJ fell to pick 18, which is never going to happen again in full PPR. I'm just saying, like, some people are just out on Justin Jefferson based on the situation, all those things. They are just out. Yeah, Fantasy Dog, you know, we do have that spot in best ball. I will fill it. I have people to fill it, but I love Fantasy Dog. He said he was going to play. He's in the chat. I think he's commenting in the chat, but he's got to join the sleeper league and then pay for it. So we'll figure that out when we figure it out. Let's get back to the list, Mr. Storey. And we just finished up Blake Corum, and we have Kyren Williams next. And Kyren Williams is ECR 15, running back 15. You have him at 13. I have him at 20. I have him at 20, man. Now, I want to preface it with saying that I have like running back 15 to running back 21 is all the same tier. So it's not like a crazy fade on Kyren. I just probably won't get a lot of Kyren having it running back 20. I want Javonte over him for sure. It's just I want the lead back in a good offense. This is a potential lead back in a great offense, but it's going to be a split. However you want to say. I know every running back has a split. This is a big split. This is a 40% split on Blake Corum's side. Say what you will, the numbers say it is, and I think it's trending in that direction. Why do you love Kyren so much?
I mean, he was already. Like they were all, I get it that they were all. Okay, first of all, where do I have him at?
You have him at 13.
And where is the ECR? And you got him at 20?
15.
Okay. I think more appropriately, you should have to defend why you think Kyren Williams is a bust.
I just told you why. I love Blake.
Because of the Corum situation?
Yeah, dude. Come on. There's a lot of tread on the tires. He's not a great pass catcher. He gets some receptions, but he doesn't do anything with them. He does catch some touchdowns from like the 7-yard line, but dude, I like Kyren. He just seems like a safe pick, and there's other players in that range. Like, I'm going to get to my ranks real quick, and I get K-Space. Thank you, my dude, for the super chat. Appreciate you. Let me get to my ranks here, and I'm going to give you the players I had ahead of him. So I want Cam Scatabo. Yeah, I want Cam Scatabo ahead of him.
No. You were making a huge mistake by taking Cam Scatabo over him.
I want Jeremiah Love. I want Jeremiah Love over him.
Huge mistake times 2. You doubling down on making a mistake?
Jeremiah Love. I want. Okay, can I finish? I want Josh Jacobs over him. I want Javonte Williams over him. I want Cam Scatabo over him. I want Quinshon Judkins over him. I want Travis Etienne over him. I want Breece Hall over him. There you go.
Okay.
All those names, Scatabo, Judkins, Etienne, Breece Hall, and Kyren are all in the same bucket. But here's the beauty of drafting, Story, is if I go wide receiver, I will take Kyren ahead of those guys if it's my running back 1, and I can just double up and take the guys ranked lower later. That's how I would rank it if I played one league. If I played one, I don't play one league, but they're all in the same bucket for me. I could make an argument for all these guys. And yes, if Blake Corum goes down, Kyren Williams is the league. He is back to the 16 touchdown guy we saw. Dude, they literally rotate drives. They literally rotate goal line carries. That's what they do.
Do you never remember the game where Blake Corum, where they got down to the goal line and Blake Corum got the ball 3 times in a row and got stuffed, and then on 4th and goal they brought in Kyren Williams and he punched it in. And
do you remember the game against the Niners when Kyren Williams fumbled on the 1-yard line and lost in the game?
I'll tell you what's going to happen. Blake Corum is going to whiff on a pass block and get Matthew Stafford blown up, and he's not going to see the field for the rest of the game. No, dude,
Kyren has fumble issues. Kyren has fumble issues, bro.
Doesn't matter. He's Sean McVay's guy.
It matters.
Okay, yeah, they spelled him going down the stretch, but realistically, like the high value touches, those go to Kyren Williams. When you're grinding out the game, maybe we need to look at the context and when Blake Corum came in. I bet those are big lead games that they came in.
No, dude, he was starting drives in the second half. He'd have that series. I watched it with my own eyes. You're delusional. You're fucking delusional.
Sounds interesting. Yeah. What is it that you do again?
I'm a full-on rapist, Africans, dyslexics, children, that sort of thing.
Did you say you're a full-on rapist?
No, that's not. I'm a
philanthropist?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It gets blocked up in my mouth. I don't say it no good. So.
Okay, first of all, that's hilarious. Yeah, I can't get behind Jeremiah Love over Blake or over Kyron Williams. Jeremiah Love has a high ankle sprain, and he's also in a timeshare and on a much worse offense. Stafford's not going to throw 42 touchdowns again this year, which means there's more running. Like Blake Corum can get a touchdown, and Kyron can get his as well. He's one of the most dependable running backs in the league. League winner? No, absolutely not. Is he going to finish above where he's being drafted this year? Probably. That's just the way that this offense operates.
There's some stuff going on in the chat. K-Space, appreciate the Superman. He said, we're good now. And I'm going to join Patreon, so never again call me something. GT, what's up, GT? Can I finish? What are you, my wife? Yeah, you want to finish for sure. Joe's Crab Shack was a seafood by the bucket restaurant. Connor makes a comment. I'm done. K-Space, you're the GOAT. What's up, Dakota? How you doing, man? Smitty. We can all get along, guys. We can all get along. And again, I appreciate the Superman. I hope you join. Like, again, tensions run high sometimes. I don't know what to say, honestly.
Not Blake Corum.
Fuck, dude, you're crazy. You're crazy. And Connor's fired up. You know what? I love Connor. I love everyone in here, guys. So can we just all get along and just sing Kumbaya and then just listen to me and Storey yell about Kyron Williams a little bit more, because that's fine. You can have your take on him. I don't hate him. I'm lower than on ECR than what you are. Like, you're actually high on him. You're going to be taking him as almost a running back one. And I don't love the player. I don't like the situation.
You were out on Travis. What's his name? Travion Henderson because of the split in the playoffs last year, right? Let's go and look at the splits in the playoffs for the Rams and see when it matters who's getting the ball. Shall we? Stats.
The point is, it's not the playoffs though. They're already going to make the playoffs this year, so they're gonna want to save Kyron. Mouth A Goat. Check out Downtown Sports. 100%, guys. Ian Eagle's coming on the program. I'm going on the same show. I have the privilege to be on the show with Mr. Ian Eagle and going to be able to ask him some questions. We do have something in the Discord for you guys, for community members. Ask Ian a question. We're going to choose the best question. We're either going to do it randomly or we're going to choose the best one. I don't know exactly what we're going to do yet, but we're going to call you up by name and ask Mr. Eagle, Ian Eagle, a question for you guys of your choosing. So Downtown Sports, where sports come home. Check them out on YouTube. They're on every other platform as well. We need to get those subs up on YouTube though, so they can start live streaming. You can ask them questions, interact, all those fine things. So hopefully everything's good. I don't really want to address this anymore. I'm sorry. I do know that I did ask you. I didn't ask you for one. You said that you were going to give me one a couple times, which I thought was, I appreciate it. And you did. And I said, thank you. I fucking hell yeah, bro. Like, hell yeah. I like K-Space. No issues at all, man. Hopefully you come back. Hopefully you're part of this, because I do enjoy you. Connor's drinking everything. So that's gasoline. He's drinking Vaseline. He's drinking booze.
Can you drink Vaseline? I guess if you melt it.
Drink. Yeah. I guess you could eat Vaseline. Okay. You could water it down and do something. You could shoot it, I guess.
I'm pretty sure the TSA considers Vaseline a liquid. Same with like peanut butter.
Want to move up Kyron? I don't think we're going to get anywhere there, but
no, we're not. Also, what do you think the snap share is going to be this year?
Well, so the weird thing is snap share and opportunity share were different, right? The snap share was definitely favoring Kyron, but when Corum was in the game, because they don't like to use him as a pass blocker, he was actually like a 57-43 in terms of opportunity share. What snap share this year? I would say 57-43. I think that's number 56-44.
Okay, because in the playoffs, it was 63-37-ish.
Oh, and that's what it will be in the playoffs again, unfortunately. Unfortunately for us.
As well. You see the dip in Kyron Williams' snap share when they're in a lull in the second half. Then when they start fighting for playoff positioning, he ticks up back into the 70s again. Why do you think that is? It's because teams understand that it's more important to keep their stars healthy for the playoff run than it is to actually make fantasy managers feel happy. That's the problem. Every year he's
you just made my argument for me, Storey. You just told me that when the season's starting to wind down, when it matters most, they're going to go 50-50, and that's what I'm saying. So thank you. Let's move on.
This is I will not abide by this. Every year he's ranked outside the top 12, and every year he finishes as the top 12.
It's a new year, man. It's a new year. Tet McMillan, can we agree on something here? Because we're going to agree on this, and this blows my mind. I'm a giant Tet guy. I had my hot take as Tet McMillan as a top 5 wide receiver ECR is 19, wide receiver 19 on Ted McMillan. You have him at 13. I have him at 18. So I'm actually only one spot ahead. I do love Ted McMillan. And that was a hot take. That's like a 10% outcome, 5% outcome. And I see the path. You love Ted McMillan. And I am on board, bro. So this is similar to when I had Candyman on the show. And I had 26% Marvin Harrison underdog. And Candyman had 15%, which is still pretty high. And he actually sold me on Marvin Harrison, which is hard to do because, I love him. And especially this year. Like this year, I love him at his cost. And in this case, I've been talking about Ted McMillan all offseason with you, and you've kind of been quiet about it. And now the ranks come out, and you have him at 13. Maybe you ran some numbers. You did some projections. Sell me more on Ted McMillan, my dude.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's the clearest and safest year 2 breakout that we've seen in a long time. Right? He finished last year with 70 receptions for just over 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns as a rookie, despite playing in an offense that was 27th in the league last year in terms of like overall scoring and efficiency. So I don't think this is a projection. I think he's proved that he can handle being a top wide receiver, an alpha in both coverage, and he can command serious volume. He did it as a rookie. The situation, while not great from an offensive perspective, it remains favorable in that there's really no other target competition for him there. There's no other established receiving threat. Chris Bradlow's season-ending injury, I don't think he was going to make that much of a difference, but it just removes one more potential target competitor. The concern is Bryce Young. It's always been Bryce Young with this team, but I don't know that Bryce Young has to be dramatically better for Ted McMillan to improve to be a top 12 wide receiver this year. Everything lines up for him. He's being drafted at wide receiver 17. I don't think he's a guaranteed top 10, but I think he's right in that top 12 to 15 range.
I broke it down when I did my hot take. It was, 122 targets last year. They threw the ball 40 times less than league average. I think they're actually going to throw the ball at league average, which would be 40 more attempts. I think it actually might be a little bit above that just based on their perceived win total of 6.5. The game scripts are going to be different. They were in a lot of drag it out games last year and also winning a lot of games last year. They're going to be losing a lot this year, and that is great for a guy like Ted McMillan. You saw the games, the spike week games, at least the spike target games of like 9, 10, 11. Like this dude is also a red zone merchant. He is here's my player comps for Ted McMillan. He's got some Mike Evans vibes, and he's not Mike Evans, and he has some Drake London vibes, which I don't think he's Drake London, but he has a crossover of both those guys. And like, I think he is closer to Drake London than he is Cortland Sutton. You know what I mean? Like he's huge, dude. He's just a monster. I love what he did on the field last year. And like, that was such a bad situation. He wasn't necessarily great. I think he can improve a lot. So yeah, man, I absolutely love Ted McMillan, and you love him more than me. So we're in on Ted McMillan. Full go. This might be a dual pillar players for us.
We'll see.
And we have another one here that we agree on. Terry McLaurin. And by the way, Storey, I have done 4 drafts this year. I did the Nick O's draft. I did my first Fantrax draft, and I've drafted for two community members. I have Terry McLaurin in all 4 leagues, just because you can get in the 5th and 6th round, like 6th round in a 10-teamer, 5th round in a 12-teamer. So Terry McLaurin, ECR 23. I have him at 21. You have him at 17. You're even higher than I am on Terry McLaurin. You're not scared of Diggs, clearly, and this is just run it back from 2024. The touchdowns probably won't be there in terms of 13, but like he needs 8 touchdowns to hit this ADP.
Yeah.
8.
I mean, his entire season was derailed by injuries last year, not just his own. This offense should bounce back. I do worry about the Laramie Tunsil injury a little bit, but realistically, this comes down to that running game is just it's a putrid excuse for a running game, and they're just going to need to throw the ball in order to be competitive. So I actually like Diggs. I'm higher on Diggs than I think a lot of people are. I've been hearing a lot of buzz about Terry McLaurin from camp. I've been hearing a lot of buzz in the fantasy streets on him. I'm surprised he's ranked as lowly or as low as he is right now. Everything we've talked about Terry McLaurin over the last 2 months, I think I'm in and more so. This entire offense should bounce back.
And there's just so many ways it works out. It's Jaden Daniels just stays healthy. It'll work out. Guaranteed. Like maybe not where you're ranking him, but he'll beat wide receiver 23. That makes it work. The second part is they start using him and giving some layup targets and actually using him in the slot a little bit and just give him some like wide receiver screens because he's fast and good with the ball in his hands. Like that makes it work out. Or the touchdown number just stays pretty high because the pairing with him and Jaden Daniels is great. Like, that's a lot of ways it works out. How does it not work out is Jaden Daniels gets hurt. Like, that's the only answer. And all of these guys, I understand that Jaden Daniels probably has a higher risk of injury just based on play style and frame than most quarterbacks, and losing Tunsil. I get that. But like, we're not drafting. It's not like he's hurt going into the seasons. Neither is McLaurin. Like, we're not drafting scared. And if the only way he doesn't actually meet his ADP is that Jaden Daniels goes down, fuck yeah, bro. Like, that's what we want to do. We want to take value on guys. And this is a guy that has, outside of the last year when he held out, which is bullshit because the Commanders totally fucked him in the butt. He's never been hurt. He's never been hurt ever. So he's not going to get hurt. And he's a little bit older, but have you seen any decline in his game? Because last year's metrics were actually better than the 2024 metrics. And that was with Marcus Mariota and him being hurt.
Not as good as the 23 season, but they were pretty good last year. I mean, this doesn't work out in two ways. Number one, this entire offense is just putrid and underperforms across the board. And that includes everybody. Number two, he hit the age cliff in the offseason, and we just don't know it yet. That's the only way it could work out. Sometimes guys get the age bug early, and I don't think it's him, but I think that's a 10% outcome. I think the offense falling off is a 20% outcome. Realistically, I'm in on Terry McLaurin.
Ryan says I'm higher on Stroud than Daniels. I'm guessing this is a fantasy take.
That's a pretty bold statement.
We've never seen Stroud like have spike weeks or even a spike year besides his rookie year. Storey, I'm going to ask you this. In terms of Jaden Daniels, not so much ranks. Would you rather have Jaden Daniels or Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts.
Really?
Yeah.
Because in my Fantrax draft, Hurts went to 507. I got Daniels at the 702.
Well, you asked who would I rather have.
No, yeah. I'm saying in a vacuum, who do you want? I still want Daniels over Jalen Hurts.
In a vacuum, you want Daniels over Hurts, huh?
Yeah, dude. Jaden Daniels has like top 3 upside. Like Jalen Hurts is going to be like quarterback 6, 7, or 8. Which is awesome. I like that.
If I'm going to draft a quarterback that early, I'm a little more risk averse because the opportunity cost is too high for me to get a guy that could fall on his face. And I think that Jaden Daniels, like I said, it's a 20% outcome, but it could happen. I know that Jalen Hurts is going to be a top 6 fantasy quarterback this year.
See, I kind of view it in a different lens from you. It's like, I can replace Jaden Daniels with, look what happened with Brissett last year. There's always those guys that just have spike stretches, and there's always quarterbacks in the wire. You know what I mean? So like the difference is when I told you I took Jaden Daniels 702, it's kind of weird. I took Jackson Dart as well, but he fell to the 13th round. And like, I was going to just take like Jared Goff or Baker, but I was like, this is a great pairing. And I was like, I made the joke that like my 2 quarterbacks might play 25 games combined, Dart and Jaden Daniels, but you got to go a little more aggressive with your bet with Hurts. Like you're fine with not even taking a backup essentially, because they have a week 10 bye. But Daniels, just put a little capital in your bench quarterback. Take a guy like Shuck or Baker or something like that, right? And then you're good, because if he does get hurt, take Kyler. Nico, Monty, Schultz, possibly Dell, best defense. The Texans' defense is unreal, unfucking real, and we want to get in on them. Let's go to the next guy, Zay Flowers. So ECR is 15, wide receiver 15. You have Zay at 18. I have Zay at 12. I am very high on Zay Flowers. It's just a bet on I know Zay Flowers is not just a good receiver. He is an elite receiver. The dude cannot be covered. He's their entire offense. And I understand
let's not label him elite yet. Okay,
bro, you cannot guard Zay Flowers.
He has a high target share, and he has really good efficiency numbers. He's not an elite wide receiver.
Not in the red zone, he's not, but everywhere else he is. Dude, they give him design touches. He gets deep ball shots. Like, Zay Flowers is fucking elite, man. I'm sorry. I've loved him ever since Boston College. Remember how high I had him coming out? Always been a Zay Flowers guy. And in this specific instance, like the Terry McLaurin and like what happened to DK last year when there was no one else in town, so they were doubling him. The difference is if Lamar is healthy and Derrick Henry's healthy, you have to allocate so many resources in stopping the run and stopping both these monsters in the backfield that you really can't double cover Zay Flowers. You can't play 2 high safeties. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's really easy to just scheme Zay Flowers open. And that's why Zay Flowers' efficiency is always so good. We mix that with the talents. This is a bet on Lamar bounce back, right? And if it happens, I think Mark Andrews, we both love as well. That's going to happen with touchdowns. Zay Flowers, 90-plus receptions last year. You saw him go nuclear, unfortunately, for fantasy in week 18. It didn't matter. But finally caught some deep touchdowns. if this offense is where it should be or where it used to be, Zay Flowers is going to be like a top 8 receiver, bro, even without touchdowns. 100 receptions, 1,200 yards. I mean, no way.
86 receptions last year, 1,211 receiving yards. Great. Yards per route run, 2.62. Amazing. Elite efficiency numbers. He's not an elite receiver, though. You're saying it's a bounce back on Lamar Jackson. Where was Zay Flowers 2 years ago when Lamar was having an excellent season? Why wasn't he like? Why? Where were the touchdowns then? I see him as a floor play, and I saw him as a floor play last year, and it played out exactly how I thought it was going to play out, and it'll play out very similarly this year. Without the touchdowns, there's just not enough upside for me to call him a top 12 wide receiver. The touchdowns.
What if he scores 8 touchdowns though? What if he scores 8?
What if my mom was my dad? Like we can play
that could happen these days. That could happen these
long.
days.
Like I'm going to bet on history and trends in this case, and I'm not going to project something that has never happened with this guy. Great talent. I wouldn't call him an elite wide receiver, and I'm a little lower on him. But what if this offense is just also bad? What if Jesse Minter isn't as good of an offensive mind as we think? What if Lamar Jackson is over the hill? Like there's a number of ways this could go wrong still too. Also, Jacoby Lane.
Yeah, Jesus. Okay. What do you think about going CD and Chase Brown? I'm cool with CD and Chase Brown at PPR. Yeah, Chase Brown was one we didn't mention. Definitely should be there. I'll get to a couple other comments before we move on. Mouth has a WWE style video he made where he announced some wrestling. I don't think it was WWE, but that'd be pretty badass. Send that in the Discord. Hatcher, guys, quick. Round 2, pick 7, half PPR. Who do you want? That is a very specific question. The last of the running backs, if there's a running back there, Derrick Henry, Hampton, I'm not going to push up Breece Hall or anything, but Brock Bowers, if Brock Bowers is there, like running backs or Brock Bowers or, AJ Brown, maybe. We're not really I don't know. How do you feel about AJ Brown this year?
I think AJ Brown is poised for a monster season. So I would be fine taking AJ Brown there. I'd be fine if Breece Hall wasn't hurt. I'd be fine taking him there, but I'm off of Breece Hall at that spot. Because of this injury. Anything that they say going to linger until the start of the season. I guess we're in a lucky position because the start of the season is a week later this year. But still, I'm a little trepidatious about any of those guys who are like, oh, they should be ready for week 1.
Jaden Daniels has a potential of ruining your team. Meanwhile, Hurts is the Derrick Henry of quarterback, squat at 500 pounds and floor and a floor of top 8 quarterback. 100%. I totally agree that Jaden Daniels is a risky pick. But the price is pretty nice on Jaden Daniels. Like if I'm gonna take a quarterback in that range, I want Burrow, but I want Daniels over Caleb. I want Daniels over Hurts. I really do. Especially in a shallow league.
Over Daniels, but I do want Daniels over Caleb Williams and Dak and any of those other guys going in that range.
Like I want Drake May ahead of him. I'm not going to say that. Ryan thinks that Lamar is cooked. We don't think Lamar is cooked. I think this is one last, he's not done after this year. I think this is one last potential, smash spot in fantasy where he can still have 600 or 700 yards on the ground, 5 rushing touchdowns and the 32 passing touchdowns. We've seen him almost have 40 before. So,
well, he had 40 in 2024.
That's insane. That is insane. Lamar Jackson had 40.
Wait, she had 41. Where was Zay Flowers then? Why wasn't he catching a
Bateman caught 8 that year. It was crazy. I hated that. Didn't like that. All right, let's move on to the next guy. We've talked about Zay Flowers. We're on to DJ Moore, who we've always loved. We've loved forever. We love the talent. Always an underrated player. ECR wide receiver 25. You have him at 21. I have him at 27. So I'm a couple spots lower. You're 4 spots higher. Not a crazy discrepancy, but that would probably mean you're going to have a lot of DJ Moore, and I might only have a few shares. I'm just a little worried about the point guard Josh Allen thing, right? He's not a great on-time passer. He doesn't want to be an on-time passer, but DJ Moore's pretty good in the scramble drill. And it's Shakir. It's if Kincaid stays healthy, that is my concern. But again, that's not a thing we want to bet on. It just could be one of those bumpy rides where I want some more stability around in that position and that range. But you think this is a giant year for DJ Moore? He looked really good in the preseason game.
He did look really good. I think it's going to be a bounce back year for him, right? He only had 700 receiving yards or whatever last year, but he was still efficiency wasn't there. This whole offense kind of pushed him out a little bit, but he's still a good athlete. And he's a good athlete who's tied to an outstanding quarterback and a great offense. A good offense. This is a good offense masquerading as a great offense because Josh Allen just elevates everything around him, right? The offensive mind there isn't exactly a genius. So anyway, I'm getting off topic. What the hell was I talking about?
You're still talking about the Bills, talking about DJ Moore. You're still talking about the Bills. Come on.
I know, but I started thinking about just how bland and vanilla their offense was last year. Well, guess what? It's third and short. Better run a mesh route.
I know.
Anyway,
I like DJ Moore. I do. I'm only 2 spots low. It's not like I'm fading him hard. It's just that I also have him in a giant tier of a bunch of these names. I'm going to get to the names here while you talk about DJ Moore. I got him right here. So I have him ahead of Jamison Williams. Like Roma Dunze versus DJ Moore is tough for me. Mike Evans, if he's healthy, is tough against DJ Moore. Luther Burden, I want over DJ Moore. Christian Watson, I want over DJ Moore. Waddle, I still want over DJ Moore. That's a close one. McLaurin over DJ Moore. I do have more over Adams and Harrison and guys like that. That's the range. I have a giant tier of wide receiver there. So I'm fine with kind of any of those guys.
You got Marvin Harrison in that tier?
No, Marvin Harrison's the top of the next tier.
Okay.
I don't want you to throw up in your mouth too much. But he's only a couple spots below DJ Moore, but it is a tier break.
Yeah, I mean, I know the philosophy everybody eats. I'm willing to take a shot on probably the best talented wide receiver that Josh Allen has ever played with.
Ooh, Stephon Diggs was pretty damn good.
Okay, yeah, Dick. I should. I mean,
we get clouded from the last year of Stephon Diggs there.
Yeah.
They're similar players.
Diggs prime versus Stephon Diggs prime. Wait.
You said Diggs prime versus
yeah,
Diggs prime. Well, there's been 2 Diggs careers.
There has been that. It's like a tale of 2 careers. Yeah. I mean, DJ Moore's not even 30 years old, so I think that there's opportunity to be had in this offense. They're going to throw the ball. They're going to run the ball a lot, but they're going to throw the ball too.
It's a good spot for him, man. I just don't see the volume. Like, what's the volume cap for the target cap for DJ Moore? Like 120, which is really high. I mean, it's high for this range.
Yeah. I mean, probably. Like, I know that Shakir's going to get his, but Keon Coleman is a whisper away from not even being on this team anymore. And then, realistically, yeah, Dawson Knox. Kincaid, I guess Cook. They could involve Cook more so in the passing game. I don't know. I just feel like with this is by far the best quarterback that DJ Moore has ever played with in his career, and he's been incredibly productive at Carolina, Chicago for a number of years. Last year things kind of fell off. I think this is a good swan song for him.
It is, and they paid a pretty penny to get him. He makes a lot of money, and they gave up draft capital. So. Jalen Waddle is the next guy here, and ECR is wide receiver 18 for Waddle. I have him at 22, so I am pretty low on Waddle. You have him at 29, so you fucking hate Jalen Waddle, and I want Waddle over DJ Moore. I do want Waddle over DJ Moore, but it's pretty close for me. It's 27 for me, and then 22 for me for Waddle, 27 for DJ Moore. They're all in the same bucket as well. Why do you hate Waddle so much?
I don't know. This is probably more personal than it is anything else. I'm sick of the Waddle hype every single year we go through this nonsense. And besides that one season, what have we realistically seen from Jalen Waddle? And don't give me he was behind Tyreek Hill, because in the start of his career, he wasn't behind Tyreek Hill. I don't really understand. I get it. He is, when he's on the field, he's a great talent. He doesn't seem like he commands targets. He had 100 targets last year. He was a 23.3% target share. Versus in a team like not 100 targets, fine, that's not great, but the target share, like a 24% target share in a team that missed Tyreek Hill for half of the season, I'm supposed to be impressed by that. There's a ton of mouths to feed. I hate the cliche, but there's a ton of mouths to feed in Denver. I can't really get behind the steam that he's getting here. I don't know. Talk me into liking Jalen Waddle more, because I'm
lower than ECR, but I'll talk you into liking more than you like him. Real quick, Sven, I missed your comment earlier. 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receivers, 2 flex, 1 tight end, 6 points per passing touchdown. Would you go Bijan, McBride, Allen from the 102? I mean, dude, Allen should be a 3rd-round pick. McBride should be a middle of the 2nd-round pick at best. Like, we want Brock Bowers over McBride in general, so that tight end at 102 is insane. No, and Allen, absolutely not. If it was super flex, yeah, Josh Allen for sure.
He's one of those tight ends or one of those flex spots, tight end spots, or super flex spots.
I don't think so. If it is, then if it's super flex, it's Josh Allen. It's Josh Allen for sure. If it's not a super flex, the answer is Bijan. The answer is Bijan. In any situation, the answer is Bijan, unless it's super flex. Having McBride and Allen in this conversation is concerning. Like, Josh Allen goes in the 3rd round in redrafts. McBride goes in the end of the 2nd round, mid-2nd round, if you're in a sharp league. And sorry, a third round for McBride and middle of the second for Bowers. So like tight end should never be pushed up this much. Like Sven, how much is it's not Superflex. How much is your draft, Sven? I will help you out, my dude. And if it's a big money league, I will help you out. Let me know. Oh, I see what he's saying. He's saying 2-3 turn. Okay. All right. I'm just making sure, Sven. You almost made me lose my mind. So yes, Bijan, and then at the 2-3 turn, I'm still not taking McBride and Allen there, personally. I'm going to take Chris Olave now with the news of Jordan Tyson. I'll take Bowers if he's there. I will take Derrick Henry if he's there. I will take Malik Neighbors if he's there, if you want to go aggressive. Like, there's a lot of really good options, Nico Collins, A.J. Brown, Drake London.
Oh, A.J. Brown. I probably would go A.J. Brown or Drake London. Ooh, actually, I don't know, man. That Tua looks so bad. He looks so bad. We can't get Panics here fast enough. I'm not worried about Bijan just because it's Bijan Robinson. I'm worried about Drake London, and anybody else on that team. Kyle Pitts, forget about it.
I'll take the dip in PPR because he's going to have games of like 6 for 46, which is not great in the second round. But then when Panics comes in, it's going to go back to 6 for 96 and touchdowns. So if there's a dip on Drake London, but the problem is you don't want to go Bijan and London, so let's take him out of there. Let's not take 2 players in the Falcons. But I'm not going McBride that early. I'll go McBride at pick like 32. I'll go Josh Allen at pick 35. It's a 6 for a passing touchdown league, so quarterbacks score a lot. But Josh Allen's cheat code is a little bit negated with the rushing touchdowns not counting for more. So it's fine. I think Josh Allen's fine in the middle of the third round, but I don't think would you pull him up to the 2-3 turn in a home league? I know someone will for sure.
I wouldn't. He will probably get pulled up in a home league, but you know me, I'll never draft a quarterback that early.
Yeah. Well, Sven, if you are interested, man, by the way, at the end of this stream, we're going to do best ball after this once Storey logs off. The end of this night, tonight is the one-year anniversary of the streams. We just had our 5-year anniversary for the show. Tonight's the 1 year. 1 year ago, I did my first stream that kind of caused this whole thing to snowball. So I'm offering a chance to be an OG. All these guys in here. Also, I want to shout out to Zach M for becoming a new professional. He was a semi-pro. He upgraded to pro. I'm going to help him do a draft tomorrow. We do offer that if you become a pro. And if you join tonight, or well, technically it's this morning, but while the stream's still going on, you are officially an OG. And what that means is that you're grandfathered in. It's like a cost-controlled apartment. It never changes for the history of time. If you want to upgrade and the tiers change, you get the original prices and some other perks as well. I want to throw your guys' way. And you get, free merchandise. You get community fantasy leagues. You get guest appearances in the pod. Come talk with me and Storey and yell about Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. Love doing that. Also, the bets. If you're a betting man, you get early access to the bets when the lines don't change. 96 and 58 last year, guys. So if you are going to do that, make sure you use the promo code PRO, 50% off your first month. Give it a try. This is the time to get in there because that gets you into the regular season. If you don't like it, if you don't like me, if you don't like Storey, someone pisses you off, you can just quit and you only get charged 1 month. $5 a month to get in the community in general. That's $2.50, guys. $2.50 is literally nothing. You're also supporting the show. And, we've been on 88 days straight now. We're probably not going to miss a day until January. We're on 4 hours a fucking night. The content is never stopping. I'm in the Discord all the time, helping people out. All the co-hosts, all the community members. Shout out to Derek and Dakota and Mouth and all the awesome people in there. It's a great community. So if you have any questions, hit up the chats and they'll help you out. I'll help you out. Let's move on to I have to convince you on Jalen Waddle. Now I got it. I just want to buy in on good offenses, and I don't think they're a great offense, but Jalen Waddle is still a good player. They also paid a lot to get him. That was their only offseason move, man. They traded a first-round pick for him, and he's the number one there. I think my concern with Waddle, this is why I have Waddle lower at 22 opposed to 18, is this is the Zay Flowers thing. Like the touchdown upside for Waddle, I actually think is lower than Zay Flowers because Cortland Sutton's going to siphon those. And apparently RJ Harvey catches a touchdown every 2 games. So I'm not the biggest Bo Nix fan. I have much more confidence in the Ravens offense than the Broncos offense. And not maybe much more. I have more confidence. How do you break these offenses down?
I think the Baltimore offense is going to be better than Denver's offense, but there's still a high volume, prolific offense. But yeah, I don't know that. I don't know, man. I just can't get behind Jalen Waddle as a alpha wide receiver in this league. It's never. You
know what the difference is? Storey is that we know it's a concentrated target share, in Baltimore. We just know it. It's going to be Zay Flowers. It's going to be Derrick Henry with the rushing attempts to be on the field. And it's going to be Mark Andrews in the red zone. We don't know how they're going to deploy like Pat Bryant, Troy Franklin. They were playing fucking little Jordan Humphreys last year in big games. Like Sean Payton is a fucking madman, bro. Like, again, I don't want to make Story's point for him, but you hate Sean Payton because he fucks with our fantasy teams. And it's fine because he wins games.
I hate him because he's a troll and he's a loser and he's a jerk. But he is he's one of the better offensive minds, but he doesn't care about feeding one dude. I don't care. Like, I don't think that he cares that they paid Jalen Waddle. Like, if Cortland Sutton is the red zone guy, then he's going to get the red zone looks. That's just the way it is. They're going to move guys around the formation. They're going to have packages for these guys. I just also, like, I don't know. This is probably superstitious, but I'm not really interested in a guy that visits the blue tent on a regular basis.
How I would break this down is if Denver's offense becomes top 5 this year, there's no guarantee. I mean, Waddle would do well for sure. There's no guarantee Waddle is a top 12 to top 14 receiver because Sutton could catch 9 touchdowns, right? Like Bo Nix could rush 4 or 5, and there's a lot of mouths there. Pat Bryant could explode. If the Ravens are a top 5 offense, I guarantee you Zay Flowers is going to just work everyone. Like, he's going to have 1,300 yards, right? Would you agree with that? Like, it's just he has to because who else is getting them?
He was close to that last year, so
that's the thing, and I'm going to bet on both these offenses. I don't hate it. Jonathan, hi fam, just checking in with Ray on my meniscus. So Jonathan got his MRI done and everything. You don't have the details, but you know what? Big Ray does want to check in with you. We're going to get back to the list in a second. We got to get a check-in from Big Ray. See what he thinks about the meniscus.
He had a meniscus issue, which totally tanked Derrick Rose's career.
Luckily, what happened to my camera?
I don't know. Now it just says Jalen Waddle.
Yeah. God damn it. You know what? Big Ray fucked up my camera. Let me check this out here. There, it switched off. I think this should be good. There we go. Okay. I'm back. A good thing that Jonathan's a race car driver and not an NBA player because, as we know, the meniscus totally tanked Derrick Rose's career. And Big Ray also wants to give a little shout out. Here he is, Dr. Ray, in his full regalia, looking great. He looks like a great. Imagine if that was your doctor walking on your fucking meniscus MRI, and it's Dr. Ray with the hat on and the hair. Fucking love it, man. I love it. All right, let's move on for Jalen Waddle. We have 4 more names to get to. We'll get to a couple comments before we get Story out of here. Emeka Big is next. And you're the biggest Big Boo guy ever. You were, and now there's a toe injury. So ECR, this has dropped recently because the concerns of the turf toe. Ibuka is ECR wide receiver 21, and you have him at 24. I actually have him at 20. How in the fuck am I higher on Ibuka than you?
I'm not.
What's going on here, man?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to undersell a turf toe injury. Like it basically cost Joe Burrow a season. So if you don't think that a running back needs his big toe in order to cut and accelerate, etc., this is all due to the injury. That's the only reason. He'd probably be 17 for me if this injury hadn't happened. I mean, I drop him a full half of a full tier. Like, I just can't get behind drafting a guy who is, there's whispers of Chris Godwin looking really good as well. I think this is a great opportunity to buy on Chris Godwin. But yeah, I mean, until he's back and he's fully healthy, unless he rests it fully for the next month, then this injury is just going to reoccur. And there's going to be plenty of games where he leaves early or he just underperforms due to efficiency.
Yeah, we saw it last year, and he's going to gut it out, and it just wasn't good gutting it out. It was almost a Josh Jacobs situation where it's like, just take some fucking time off, bro, and get yourself at least close to back healthy. And I think you're really high on Baker. I'm high on I'm at consensus on Baker. You're higher than I am. You're higher than most. And I feel like if you're as high on Baker as you are, and we think they're going to spread the ball around. You got McMillan. You have Ted Hurst, who we like. Kate Otten, your boy.
McMillan's back at practice. They've got Tez Johnson still there. Like, there's plenty of guys to catch the ball.
We got to give it up to this rookie sensation wide receiver, Emeka Egbuka.
And you got to give credit to this rookie sensation wide receiver out of Ohio State, Emeka Egbuka.
So I don't want to miss out, right? Like, I think there's still a chance now that the turf toe just throws a whole wrench in all of this, honestly. And I didn't ding him as much for it as you did, clearly. And it's just Mike Evans being gone, I want to buy in this offense. I think Baker is on a mission, and if he stays healthy, I don't even care if Ibuka's like 80%. I think Ibuka beats his ADP, but it does take a little bit of the shine off the upside that we were talking about. He was the potential to be this year's JSN. I think that might be out the window if he's playing hurt.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. I'm terrified of this injury, turf toe. Every time I've heard it, remember Devontae Adams had a turf toe that absolutely derailed his season as well. Who else? God, yeah, just tons of examples. I'm probably being a little more risk averse than I need to be, but let's see how things progress the next 3 weeks and see if we can get him back on the field before the start of the season. If he doesn't practice or play before the start of the season, he's a really risky pick week 1. Really risky.
And I think that I made this point the other day, like turf toe, people just hear that. They're like, it's whatever. Like they need to rename it because it is a bad injury. Like it is worse than an ankle sprain for sure. I'd say it's equal to a high ankle sprain, right? And maybe worse for longevity.
Yeah, I mean, similar to a high ankle sprain, there's some tearing of ligaments related to this injury. It's just the degree and severity, etc. Yeah, that's what also has me terrified of Jeremiah Love, right? High ankle sprains, unless you fully rest it, if you come back early, that's it. Your efficiency is donezo.
All right, give us like 10 more minutes. We'll get to some comments, guys. Stay patient with us. We have Brian Thomas, dude. Brian Thomas, ECR 33. Storey, you have him at 23. I have him at 32, and I'm kind of a Brian Thomas guy. The schedule is grueling to start the year in terms of, number one corners, and that he's going to be playing the X, which he's going to get those matchups against Stingley and against Christian Gonzalez and Sauce Gardner. It's a rough 6-game stretch, but I love the talent. I feel like the rookie year stuff was definitely inflated with Mac Jones and being the only show in town, but he has that athleticism. He is an elite level athlete. And last year was such a mess for many reasons. The injury, I feel like the real Brian Thomas is probably somewhere in between what we saw year one and what we saw last year, which is kind of where you're ranking him. But the fact that you have him over.
No, that was a mistake.
Have him over.
That was a mistake. He should not be that high in my rating. I'm
okay.
Yeah, no, I screwed that one up. I've got. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that.
Where would you rank him? Like 30?
30. I've got him like right in that Luther Burden, Jalen Waddle tier.
And Jalen Waddle for you was 29. So yeah, I have him 32. So let's just skip Brian Thomas. Let's go to Christian Watson.
I'm higher on Parker Washington than I am on Brian Thomas.
So I think when I'm talking, you're taking notes because if you remember my hot take segment for wide receivers, I had Christian Watson and Tet McMillan on the program for me. I had both those guys. And Christian Watson, ECR 30. I got to get something over here. You know what it is. ECR is wide receiver 30 for Christian Watson. Mike Storey has him at wide receiver 22. Rob Simmons has him at wide receiver 22. We got the Wanda Trust up in here, baby. And this is our guy, man. And you weren't off of him when I was bringing up the hot take thing. You were just a little bit shaky on the takes. And what has made you warm up to Christian Watson being really high? I mean, that's 8 spots higher. That's almost a round and a half higher than ADP. Yeah,
I mean, well, it doesn't hurt that Josh Jacobs still has this injury situation and he has this legal situation floating around. So that certainly helps. But, I went back in and I dug into the numbers and looked at his performance after he came back. Like the injury seems to be fully behind him at this point. So I'm not really concerned about injury for him from that perspective. There's just a lot to like about his athletic profile, this offense in general, the way they run this offense, the fact that he is one of 2 guys in 2 wide receiver sets. I don't think that Matthew Golden is really a threat to him on the opposite side from a target perspective. They've consolidated the target tree. All things point to this being not a breakout season because he's kind of already broken out. It's just been breakout injury, right? But yeah. And
and less target volume than he deserved based on the hockey lines.
It's not one thing. It's just a combination of things that have come together for me to go really rise on Christian Watson. Like I definitely want pieces of him this year.
Well, the best part is you mentioned that he is definitely going to be on the field in 2 wide receiver sets. That's a fact. He should be on the field in 1 wide receiver sets as well if they play those. But it's not even that he'll be on the field. It's that they hate Jaden Reed in terms of that archetype of wide receiver. And if Matthew Golden's the other guy, we still don't know about that. I think it's Matthew Golden. In reality, in a different wide receiver room, not even talents or, draft capital. In terms of archetype of wide receiver, like Matthew Golden's borderline not even a guy that should be on the field in 12 personnel anyway. So like neither of the guys that are threatening him, and Bo Melton sucks. Like neither of these guys, and Tucker Kraft coming off an ACL, Josh Jacobs, all those question marks. Like nobody there is threatening the snap share. Nobody does what he does for this offense. He is a monster of a man. I think he's figured out the health things. And again, at this price point, I mean, ECR 30, regardless of where we're ranking him at 22, it's not a risk. It's the Chris Olave thing from last year. If he gets hurt and you lose because Christian Watson got hurt, you drafted a shit team. It's your fault for fucking up your first, second, third, and fourth round picks. You know what I'm saying? So it's a luxury pick that could literally pay off as a wide receiver 1. And we're not going to rank him there because we are banking on some injury and some risk and some uncertainty. But this is like a prime spot. He just got paid, and the Packers are smart. They're an organization that doesn't pay like, how Jerry Jones pays for past production, which is just fucking stupid. They pay for future production, and that's what this is with Christian Watson. I am all in on Watson this year. I know he doesn't not the best PPR guy per se because he doesn't have like a 90 catch range of outcomes, but all he needs is 100 targets. Then he gets 68 or 70 catches and like 1,300, 1,200 yards, or they start using him more in the intermediate game, and then the PPR stuff goes up. And he is a dude that could take a slant to the house. He's not AJ Brown, like prime AJ Brown, but he is a gazelle, man. This guy's a monster that is he profiles as a true alpha. We just never seen it. And I think really easy to project that. It's really easy to project it.
I mean, we're having to project it, but we're projecting it based on a admittedly small sample last year. But I mentioned they consolidated the target tree. I'm not convinced that Romeo or that Matthew Golden can ever be a true target earner on the opposite side. Like he's not going to be a leader. He's not going to be an alpha. The thing is, like, it's probably not a volume play. His targets per route last year were 24th in the league, but his yards per route run were top 5 last year. And so this efficiency combined with they have already talked about wanting to play at a faster pace offensively this year as well. A number of things could tick up for Watson to really ascend and be a league. I know league winning's thrown around a lot, but a league.
It is ADP. It is a league winner. It's George Pickens ADP from last year. It's George Pickens ADP. Yeah. And
I'm trying to get.
We didn't mention the Micah Parsons thing. Like that's a nice plus for Christian Watson. The pace that you mentioned. And yes, the efficiency will go down with more targets, but like that's going to even itself out. And like, give me more targets with a player of this caliber. It just seems like the easiest pick this year. I think a lot of guys have kind of written off because it's been the same story, right? It's been injuries, it's been disappointment, it's been inconsistent, game-to-game stuff where it's like he throws up some 2 for 12s, right, on 6 targets, and you look at the target share and then the snap share, it's like, what the fuck happened here? And I just don't think it's gonna be the same situation this year. I think like at his floor, you're drafting him actually like his floor is probably like 26 if he stays healthy. Like points per game, I think that's his floor. And his ceiling, I think we both think is top 10. I
mean, it's a combination of talent, situation, usage, outstanding efficiency, and at cost. Like I want to take him every chance that I get. I'm willing to draft him a round higher.
Wanda Trust, baby. We are in. By the way, this is not Helen Hunt's vibrator. The wife won this at a dirty bingo night, and she doesn't want. I'm like, I'm not going to throw it away. I'll use it. I'll find it as a prop, and it's a great thing we do on the show. So Wanda Trust. And as much as we hated and argued about Kyron Williams and Blake Corum, I don't think we could be in more agreement here on Christian Watson. So that is our stamp of approval. I'm pretty sure he'll be a PP of both of ours, a pillar player of both of ours, because with where we're ranking him, he has to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Oh, absolutely. He's always a pillar player. Luther Burden's the last name. We're going to get to the comments right after this. Luther Burden, ECR, wide receiver 23. Storey, you have him at 30. I have him at 24. So I'm still a little lower than ECR. I want to buy in this Bears offense. I know the price point's high. It has gone down for good reason with the injury there, but I like the fact that it's just 3 guys, and I guess you can count Swift as a 4th guy, but I think they can support it. Burden, again, I want Burden much more in full PPR than I do half PPR. I don't see the touchdown upside with Burden being massive. Like Roma Dunze has that roll down in my opinion, but he looked good last year. Again, he has some issues in terms of health. Like currently, he has some issues in terms of getting on the field as a rookie, and it's got a Colson Loveland and a Roma Dunze problem. Is that where you're taking this?
What's his ranking?
23.
23. Yeah, I mean, I got him somewhere around 30. I don't remember exactly where.
30. Exactly 30.
I'm not fully convinced that this offense is going to be as transcendent and ascendant as people think it's going to be. I still have my doubts about Caleb Williams increasing his, taking that next step. This is still a run first team. You mentioned it. He's got a Roma Dunze problem and a Colston Loveland problem. If Christian Watson wasn't my breakout pick of the year, it would probably be Colston Loveland. Just the way they utilized him down the stretch during the playoffs last year was exactly how Ben Johnson wants to run this offense. I understand it. The metrics are super alluring with Luther Burden, but it took him a long time to get on the field, and he was kind of forced on the field due to Roma Odunze's injury. The price is too high for me. I just can't get behind it.
Well, especially when you mix the injury in, right? That's
also a
cherry on top.
Like, people they're hand waving this injury from Luther Burden as though it's no big deal, and I'm really nervous about injuries in the preseason. We see it all the time. Dude gets injured, and it tanks their efficiency or it tanks their volume, whatever it is, or it bugs them all year long. I don't know. There's a number of factors, and if you had asked me last week before the injury, I probably would have had him at like 26. I think 4 spots for that injury is reasonable.
That's fair. Alec, I'll get to your comment in just 1 second. Vegeta has a Caleb comment. Caleb, 58% accuracy is a problem, and that's going to go up, guys, for sure. He's going to be working on that. We love Caleb Williams. Here's the problem with Luther Burden, though.
No, we don't.
Okay, here's the problem with Luther Burden is we've heard the Ben Johnson comps in terms of, well, he's going to have the St. Brown role, and that very well may be the truth. The problem is the St. Brown role is super valuable for 2 reasons. It's because St. Brown is in that role, which is a top-tier slot receiver, shifty, just a super like tough dude who just is willing to go over the middle, doesn't drop balls, great with the ball in his hands. And also Jared Goff's the quarterback of that role, which is perfect for that St. Brown role. Luther Burden is not St. Brown, like at all. He might have quicker, like long speed, but he's not as quick. He's not as shifty. He's not his hands are pretty questionable, if you ask me. And Caleb Williams that's not his bag. It could be his bag in a year or two. Maybe it's this year. We haven't seen it. That's a lot of projecting. That is a dumb comment that people say, not your comment, Vegeta, but the Luther Burden role. Oh, the Luther Burden role. It's like he's not, the St. Brown role. He's not St. Brown, and Caleb is not Jared Goff. So it's not a 1-to-1 comparison. It's not even close in my book. Let's get to some comments though. I think we should on our boy Burden. If Ray was in here, his head would explode. Naylor or Trey Tucker debates. This one's pretty easy for me. What do you have, Storey?
At this point, Jalen Naylor, but that you could ask me in a week, and my opinion would change.
Well, did you see that today? They played Jalen Naylor with the backups.
Mendoza look bad. It's Kirk Cousins.
No, I get that. I'm saying, but I know Kirk Cousins does not pair well with Trey Tucker historically. It's the skill set.
Downfield, do we think there's going to be a ton of downfield shots this year?
No, but this is a season-long thing, and I've been breaking it down for a while like this. In a deep PPR league redraft, I probably want Jalen Naylor because I think he could be flex-worthy for bye weeks and stuff and give you some PPR appeal. In best ball, it was always Trey Tucker for me because he is the archetype of player we want that can have spike weeks. But I just don't see the point in taking Jalen Naylor. I don't see the point. It's going to be Brock Bowers. It's going to be Genty. If Mendoza is in there and he actually, he doesn't look good now, but it's a rookie. But first overall pick that is pro ready. If he gets in there and they can actually expand the offense a little bit and they get some more time to throw, which they should with Linderbaum there. And this offense is better than we think. Trey Tucker could eat. And when I say eat, like he can go from wide receiver 58 where you're drafting him to finish at wide receiver 40, right? He is a good player. He is a Zay Flowers light, like extra light Zay Flowers. Like he's like RC light. Like not even he's like an off-brand RC Cola of Zay Flowers, which is it's still cola, bro. It's still cola. I think. Maybe.
I mean, yeah, technically, by definition.
So, yeah, the problem is Jalen Naylor. I don't want to read too much into this, but today they sat their starters, and they actually played Jalen Naylor, which you don't want to see that. Like, they sat Trey Tucker. I think Trey Tucker is for sure their starter, and I think Naylor will be on the field as well. And, Jack Bash is much more likely to replace Naylor than he is Tucker because Jack Bash can't play on the outside. And that is my concern. Like Dante Thornton is not taking Trey Tucker's job, bro. That's Trey Tucker's competition. Dante Thornton's a bum.
Yes, Dante Thornton is a bum.
That's pretty sweet. All right. One more shout out to Jonathan. Hope he's still in here. Hope he's doing well. Let's get to the comments here and get Storey out of here. We have Coleman look like crap. They've been talking up Jonah Coleman a lot, though. You're not a Jonah Coleman guy, right? Or are you a Jonah Coleman guy?
I took him in our
You don't know what
league
the hell.
because I think that red backfield is ambiguous enough that I'm willing to take shots on all three of those guys to see who kind of pans out. Dobbins is probably the least favorite of that because what's he going to get, like a 4% target share? The upside is not really there. Harvey, though, super inefficient, not really a running back per se. I mean, he is, but he isn't. So I thought I've said it a few times. Coleman is good at everything, but he's not great at any one thing. So it doesn't surprise me that he's not looking. As a rookie, it's going to take him some acclimation. I guess this is better for Sutton and Jalen Waddle, right? And Pat Bryant, because passing game is probably going to need to be a little more robust with this backfield.
Yeah, and they don't have a tight end there they like, so they're going to play a lot of 11 personnel. Guys, real quick, we are two subs away from 3,100. Let's get that before this stream ends. We have 3,098 subs. Let's get 3,100 before we end this stream. And again, guys, after Storey gets off, I'm going to start a new stream here and do a best ball draft in like 5 minutes after this one ends. So if you want to draft some underdog with us, love to have you join us. Hetzer, out of these three wide receivers, how do you rank them? Devontae Adams, T. Higgins, and Terry McLaurin. Pretty easy for me.
I want my initial. I want to like T. Higgins more than I do, but it's Terry McLaurin, T. Higgins, Devontae Adams in that order.
Wow, it's T. Higgins, Terry McLaurin, and Devontae Adams for me. Higgins is number one. Come on.
Higgins is the number 2 on his team, though, and Terry McLaurin is the number 1.
Yeah, it's Joe Burrow, though. The health concerns are different, but they both have health concerns for their quarterback. If you had to bank on who plays more games this year, Jaden Daniels or Joe Burrow, I was actually just talking about this with my wife, and she loves Joe Burrow, and I was like, Joe Burrow goes in the 5th round, and Fantrax is 4 for a passing touchdown. It is 20 yards per point, which kind of evens that out. But Burrow he went to the 5-3, and then Jaden Daniels, I got at the 7-2. 2 rounds late. Like, give me Jaden Daniels 2 rounds later than Joe Burrow.
If I had to bank on who plays more games this year, I would say Jaden Daniels. But
Joe Burrow, I feel like Jaden Daniels is more likely to have a nagging injury, hammy or something, where like Joe Burrow gets the season enders.
I mean, we thought it was season ending last year, and Joe Burrow was like, nah, I'm coming back for this team that's not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I can't believe that. Hetzer, half PPR. Right, give me Higgins, Adams, McLaurin. Ooh, McAuliffe hates McLaurin. I love McLaurin. You love him even more than me. But witness me. What if the hardest coverage Waddle becomes a second read, and he's now the number 2, second read in terms of like seconds option, where it's Sutton number 1, or maybe even Pat Bryant, who Hames is on the channel. By the way, guys, check out Who Hames. Great dude. We did a home and away yesterday. He's a Pat Bryant truther, man. We both love the talent of Pat Bryant. We were a little concerned with all the injuries at the end of the year, though, and that he just couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah, bummer. I mean, but fortunately, I shouldn't say fortunately, because it was a concussion that basically took him out of the season last year. If he's past that, he should be healthy again this year. There's been a lot of buzz about Pat Bryant during training camp. Let's see if it manifests this year.
Dr. Jonathan says Burrow had a tear in his, though. Emeka is a stable, so no tear in his. We don't think.
I mean, there's still ligament damage. I don't know the extent to it, but
Adams turf toe in 2019 is the closest thing. How many games did he miss, guys? Can someone look that up for us?
Yeah.
How many games did Adams miss in 2019? Jonathan Brooks is going round 7 in these 12-man half PPR mock drafts. I'm doing right, by the way. Especially in half PPR. I think Brooks is definitely a good pass catcher, right? Like, I think his upside is to be a versatile. I always comped him to Jamal Charles a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. His upside is in the pass catching, but if he just, man, I don't know. Chuba's been Wally pipped already with Rico Dowdle last year. How tied to this how tied to the running back? How tied to Chuba Hubbard is this organization really?
They did pay him, and he's a captain, but other than that, not.
They paid him 2 years ago.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. The clips are pretty elite, and unfortunately, I can't take credit for making the clips, but I can take credit for putting them at great timing and having some pretty fucking good taste. Ryan, Harrison versus Wilson. I mean, in a vacuum, it's got to be Harrison just because he goes higher, and you got to do that. At cost, you prefer Wilson, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I do. In a vacuum, I'm willing to give Harrison one more year benefit of the doubt, but I'm not willing to make him anything other than a wide receiver 3.
Yeah, well, Mom also said for you to stop sticking your dick in the vacuum cleaner.
Hello? Hello? I said don't disturb you, I'm cleaning my room!
Sven is looking forward to me finding this year's Michael Wilson. Maybe it's Michael Wilson. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll find it. It might be Casey Concepcion, baby.
It might be Ed Knight Mitchell. You know who it is.
Man.
You know who it is. Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah. I have, man, Torrey Horton's hurt right now, and like we don't know the extent of that, or if it's a shin flare up. I have a lot of Torrey Horton. It's an 18th round pick. I also have 21% Rashid Shaheed in best ball, which is tasty. And you have him in a return league, which is fuck you for sniping him, you son of a bitch. I don't like you anymore. I don't like it. I think if Tucker can stay healthy and Watson all season, it'll help Josh Jacobs with less stacked boxes. That's been Jacobs' problem. It's run per carry against I don't get the last part, but it's
I think he's saying
Josh Jacobs is touchdowns, right?
Yards per carry has been
yeah.
Which it has, no argument. But the upside of Jacobs is volume, touchdowns, and receiving ability, which he's shown in spades in Green Bay. I don't really care if he averages 4.1 yards per carry, 3.9 yards per carry. It doesn't really bother me. Now, Marshawn Lloyd is looking halfway decent. If he stays healthy, that is a bit of a threat to Jacobs' workload. I will say that.
Brooks finally got in the end zone, took 3 seasons, and actually he didn't because it was preseason, but he did, in theory, get in the end zone. He felt that feeling. It's like, it's like a virgin making out with a chick, right? He finally got his tongue wet, I guess, but like, is it really getting in the end zone? But I get the point. I also wanted to make that joke there. When Storey speaks, you listen. That's from Junkbuster. My guy, Junkbuster. Shout out to Junk. We drafted a banger a week or 2 ago, whenever that was. I lose track of days. But you see Junk as an OG, as a fanatic. Our dude, Junkbuster69. Appreciate you, dude. We have another draft coming up together. Can't wait to do that one. And always appreciate the kind words. And Storey, that is true. You listen, and you listen hard. You take notes because he just knows how to talk, knows ball, and he's just an all-around great guy with good hair.
I do like taking notes so I can review it later. It's mostly about the comments on the hair.
Yeah, drafting from 101 and redraft, which receiver would you take? Nico, Pickens, or Rice? I mean, with the injury to Higgins, it's got to be Nico.
Nico, yeah.
How would you rank this? Would you rank it Nico, Pickens, Rice? Right
now I would, because Rice looks like he is not fully back from that knee injury. I don't know if it was the rehab that set him back or what, but I'm a little worried about that offense in general, and especially if their number one wide receiver is struggling out of the gate. So Nico, Pickens, Rice in that order.
For me, it's a little bit scoring dependence. As Storey shakes his head about this. So it is. Fuck you. It is in half PPR, regardless of if Rice is fully healthy, it's George Pickens. He has 10, 12, 14 touchdown upside, even with CeeDee Lamb healthy. In full PPR, I have Pickens ranked 1 spot ahead of Rice just because of it just doesn't look good. But if you get some good clips and some good coaching speak, which I don't like to listen to, Rashee Rice is the upside shot of the true number 1 there with Kelsey being 1,000,000 years old. And we haven't heard a lot about Xavier Worthy. So it's Nico for sure, though. Nico is the number 1. And I think Nico was the number 1 before the injury to Higgins. But they're bringing in bums, dude. They're bringing in old-ass bums. And we like Jalen Noel. We have him in our dynasty team. Takedown's fine. And Schultz, it's not a lot of competition.
There's speculation, though, that Kayshon Boutte could be traded, or that Rashad Bateman might get traded to Houston. So just keep an eye out for that. They might make a trade.
Dude, if Kayshon Boutte goes to Houston, Nico needs to be actually moved up, because that means Kayshon Boutte plays sacrificial X, and you can use Nico Collins in a fucking versatile big slot role, flanker role. Would love that. Addison or Quentin Johnston. This is a tricky one. It's probably Quentin Johnston for me.
Johnston.
Where are the ranks? I have Quentin Johnston, and I have Quentin Johnston 4 spots ahead of Addison. But I think the upside is higher for Addison if you think about it, because his offense goes nuclear. We've seen Addison be awesome. The downside is way worse. Like, Quentin Johnston is what he is. He's going to have apparently 8 touchdowns every year. He's going to have 55 receptions, but he's going to be very boomer bust. You're going to have a lot of games where you walk out there, he scored 3 points for you, but he's going to have some 2-touchdown games where like Jordan Addison has a chance to be like week to week consistent if Kyler Murray and Kevin O'Connell can kind of right this ship and get back to where the Vikings offense should be. But I'm still going Quentin Johnson. I guess it maybe depends on what you need. I'm trying to think. Who would you feel more comfortable as your wide receiver 4 starting every week? I think it might be really.
There's nothing that's going to push me to Addison over Quentin Johnson. I don't care about scoring format. The problem is, like, Juwan Jennings is now there, and it's Kyler Murray. Like,
stop this Kyler Murray slander, man.
I will not stop the Kyler Murray slander.
I started the Kyler Murray slander. I started this shit, and you're finishing it.
There's not going to be enough volume to support 3 wide receivers there.
You know what the real answer is? If this is your bench receiver, you know the real answer is Alec Pierce. That is the answer, because that's the guy you want on your bench. That's who I took as my first bench receiver in the Fantrax League. Like, I don't need him until week 5.
First bit of positive news came out of camp today. So hopefully things trend in the right direction for Alec Pierce.
That is the perfect bench receiver, though. You don't want to draft him as your 4th receiver if there's a flex, unless you have like a solid running back you can flex in there. But if this is a bench receiver, you don't need to rely on him until week 5. Say, let's say you have Rashee Rice, and that's not a great pairing, but let's say you have a week 5 bye guy. Give me Alec Pierce, because I don't need him till week 5, and then you have some ramp up time. You're good, and then he's the wide receiver 1 on his team. Where would you rank Alec Pierce right now if he didn't have the high ankle sprain?
7.
No, like realistically, where would you rank him? I have a number in my head.
45, probably.
45. Alec Pierce?
25.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say 27.
Okay.
So I can look at my ranks. I would have him.
I might be a little high at 25.
Yeah, I think you're high. So we currently, I'll tell you who I have at 25. I have Luther Burden at 24. So you'd want Luther Burden over him.
If he was fully healthy?
Yes.
I don't think I would. I think I'm high. I think I'd still put him over Luther Burden.
Do you have Jalen Waddle at 29?
Okay, that seems about right. Somewhere in that range.
Yeah, I'm saying is we're getting him now in like the mid 40s, and like that's the point, is that we like this because it does suck. It could linger all year.
Yeah, it could be a loss.
That's the bench player that you want, though, because you could cut him. It doesn't matter. It's a 10th round pick. Who cares? Like, we want to draft guys that we don't need early on. We don't want to draft Jacoby Myers. I keep on saying this. I use Jacoby Myers all the time as a guy we don't want to draft.
I know you say that, like, oh, who cares? You can cut him, but realistically, these decisions are not made in a vacuum. Like, there's an emotional component even to your 10th round pick. People have a tough time cutting their 14th round pick because this is the week he's gonna break out. So there is an emotional component to this game that you have to consider as well. Just an FYI.
Does Kupp's value go up if you get to you at all if Horton's out for some time? It definitely goes up. I don't know exactly what that means in terms of best ball. Yeah, he'll play more. This is a best ball comment for Connor, I'm sure, because he has a lot of Kupp and best ball. Yeah, definitely. This goes up I wasn't really drafting him at all. If I knew this news about Horton, I would have been drafting Cooper Kupp in that Horton spot. And it's touchdowns for Cooper Kupp. He got really unlucky last year, 2 touchdowns. Should have been higher. Not a great ring endorsement of the player, but he's trusted. And it's not really a best ball. The reason I don't take him is it's not a best ball guy. He's never going to have 90 yards in a game. He could have 2 touchdowns maybe, but that's why I liked Horton. GT said, who's the new Michael Wilson? Who do we say? Shaheed?
Shaheed. Horton here's a skin injury.
I like that. I'm so out on Kyle Pitts this year. His ADP is way too high for me, man.
Thank you.
He doesn't like that. Let's see. QJ all day. In a vacuum, Addison is clearly a better receiver. Yeah, but in a worse situation.
I'm not arguing.
What's up, Sploosh?
I'm not arguing that whatsoever. Addison is a much better receiver, but the situations are polar opposite.
Jacoby Myers is this year's Michael Wilson. I mean, there needs to be some injuries for that to happen, right?
Yeah, although Jacoby Myers, I would feel better about Parker Washington if they inked his contract. They paid Brenton Strange. They paid Jacoby Myers last year when they brought him in. They're making a show of this, but he's still going to be part of this team. I don't know how fantasy relevant he's going to be week in and week out because there are a lot of mouths to feed there, and Brenton Strange is no slouch. But yeah, he could break out. You'd need an injury though, like you said.
All right, we have what's our lobby here? I'm looking at Underdog right now. And cool. We do have a little Dalmatian. We have some stuff we can do. So we're going to do some drafts on Underdog. Get it Story out of here. What's up, Big Sploosh? So, guys, give me like 10 minutes. I'm going to set it for like 1 o'clock, 1 a.m. Central or 1:05 a.m. Central. And we're going to get a best ball draft or 2 in. Storey, great show as always. Again, we're gonna have a couple more segments. We're gonna have our pillar players, of course, at the end of the year, which is our premiere segment where we release our 10 guys, our pillars, our PPs. We show you our PPs. And then we're going to do our season-long bet show where it's our player props we like. I think I already have 6. Usually we do 5, but maybe you can match me with 6 this year.
Ooh,
and we do pretty good on that segment. So we'll do that. We'll have 2. And then we'll have Storey on for a couple just general mailbags once the season gets closer, draft mailbags, stuff like that. We just sit here and interact with you guys and do our thing. So awesome show, Storey. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll see you soon, man.
Boys.
We'll see you next week at some point.
All right. Sounds good. Have a good weekend, everybody. Enjoy the draft. And we'll, we will be back at it next week.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in 10 minutes. Love your life. Stay positive and respect each other